as of July 1st, 2022, the federal government has decided that they are going to help out self-employed drivers. So that includes things like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Instacart, any other delivery driver app. You are going to be saving more on taxes for the rest of the year. The IRS announced this about a month ago, but right now it is coming into effect from July 1st to December 31st of 2022. The standard mileage deduction has gone up 4 cents from 58.5 cents per mile to 62.5 cents per mile. I'll have a link in my description so that you can look at it for yourself. It's to the IRS government website where it is detailing all this information. So for the first 6 months of the year, you're going to be using the standard mileage deduction of 58.5 cents per mile. And then for the final 6 months of the year, you're going to be using the new standard mileage deduction of 62.5 cents per mile. If you're unfamiliar with this standard mileage deduction, basically what it means is you're going to have your revenue you made for the certain time period, typically 1 year, and then you're going to use that on your taxes. But if you've been tracking your mileage throughout the year, then you can now use this calculation to deduct money from your revenue so you don't have to pay as much in taxes if you're using a personal vehicle for your self-employment. This helps us independent contractors for these various apps because come tax time, you're going to be saving a little bit of money, which is nice because we have spent a lot of money on gas every year, and especially this year when gas prices are so high. I'm not a tax professional, and so it's hard for me to tell you everything there is to know about the standard mileage deduction, but if you have someone to talk to about this, that is great. If not, you can use a bunch of different apps to track your mileage, and then if you're doing the taxes yourself, say something like TurboTax, all you got to do is input the information right there and they will calculate your deduction for you. So you don't have to worry about really researching this too much. Just make sure you are tracking your mileage. Now let's get into why the IRS might have changed this calculation for drivers. I would say with inflation as high as it is, and especially with gas prices just even higher than inflation, like this is crazy right now. We're having to spend a lot of money at the pump just to fuel our personal vehicles that we use for these services. It is very nice to be able to have this deduction at least increase a little bit. 4 cents per mile isn't too crazy, but it is very, very nice that they helped us out even a little bit. It is actually pretty rare that the IRS will increase the standard mileage deduction in the middle of the year. The IRS also decided to raise the standard mileage deduction in 2011. That was the last time. So it hasn't happened in 11 years. But right now, with inflation and gas prices, it just makes sense for them to do that. This may provide a little extra incentive for self-employed drivers to continue to work during this time when expenses are at an all-time high for us. If you're worried about driving right now, I would say it is good for you to be thinking about whether it's profitable or not for you to be working this job. But I do have a calculation right here, a real world example that I can share with you to hopefully ease that a little bit. Let's say you are a part-time driver and you are going to drive about 100 miles per week for the remaining 26 weeks out of the year. Now, using the old mileage deduction calculation, you would have had a tax deduction of $1,521. But under the new calculation, you now have a mileage deduction of $1,625. And so you're going to be able to deduct an additional $100 for business expenses. So you're going to have to pay a little bit less come tax time. If you're a full-time driver, you may drive something like 700 miles per week. And if you decide to do that for the remaining 26 weeks of this year, you are going to have about $11,000 in tax deductions, whereas in the past with the other calculation, you may have around $10,000. So right around $1,000 there as well. Since this is a business expense, you're going to be able to legally hide this revenue from the government. And so your net income is going to be lower, but that's okay because you already have the money in your bank account and you already paid out those expenses. I am not an expert in taxes. I'm just trying to give you the best information that I can, and you can do what you can with the information to make your business better. It is extremely nice that the government has decided to help out independent contractors in this way, but I don't think that this changes the facts of your business. If you were still running a very successful business, even with high expenses, then I would say this is an added bonus for you. This is fantastic. I think this is where I am at right now just because I have mastered a few of these delivery apps, namely DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. I feel like I'm running things so well, and so this will only be a bonus for me. However, if you aren't making that much revenue per hour, I would say anywhere around like $15 an hour or lower, I would seriously consider maybe not doing food delivery or rideshare right now, just because it may not be worth it for you with the high expenses right now to operate your vehicle. It may just not be worth it for you, and maybe you're gonna have to get an additional income source. You may have to sit on the sidelines with delivery driving if you're not able to make this a very profitable business for you. The 4 cents additional is nice, but I just don't know if that is enough to make it worth it if your revenue is already pretty low. High prices may be affecting your income, but here on this channel, I try to provide the best tips and strategies I have for you so that you can make the most money you can as a delivery driver and for your business. If you want to learn about making more money with DoorDash, I'll have a video right here. And if you want to learn more about making money with Uber Eats, the video will be right here. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.